Please pray with me. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of all of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Please be seated. From the Gospel of Luke, 24:36. While they were still talking about this, Jesus himself stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." As fellow human beings, I suspect that you have had the experience where a cloud of grief is so great that it seems all hope is lost. Whether from the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, the death of a loved one, a devastating, traumatic experience has the capacity to overwhelm our minds, to dominate all our thoughts and our attention. One of the most vivid examples of this in my own life happened in the wake of the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. When I was eating lunch in a deli on Staten Island, and I unexpectedly came across the picture of a paramedic mentor of mine, Kevin Pfeiffer, who as a lieutenant with FDNY, the fire department of New York City, had been killed in the collapse of the World Trade Center. As I broke down and cried in the middle of that busy establishment, I lost track of where I was and who was around me. And never have I wanted more to have Jesus appear beside me and to hear him say, "Peace be with you." Recalling that experience was one reason that Reverend Madeline's sermon last weekend resonated so much with me. I appreciate the reminder that while we modern Christians know that the miraculous happy ending the resurrection brings to the story of Jesus' earthly ministry, the disciples who lived through that experience IRL, in real life, they didn't. At least not until they encountered Jesus for themselves. That's why when I hear this gospel story, I'm inclined to offer Cleopas and his companion a little grace for not recognizing that this stranger who joins them is in fact Jesus, their beloved teacher, the one that they hoped would redeem Israel. This is despite the way their hearts burned within them while he talked to them on the road and opened the scriptures to them. One thing I noticed on my most recent reading of this gospel story this Easter season is that it wasn't what Jesus said, but what he did that caused the reality of the resurrection to take hold in the heart of his disciples. He took bread, blessed it, broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were open. Then they recognized him. And then at that same hour, they got up and returned to Jerusalem. And while they were still talking about this, Jesus himself stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." Now, this morning, I'm here speaking to you with a twofold purpose. In the first place, I'm pleased to be able to share just a few thoughts on why I think the gospel we heard today matters. More than ever, I think we Christians need to be a people that both receives and preaches peace, especially with our actions. But I'm also here in my role as the Chief Development Officer with the local affiliate for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, to share with you how your support, how St. Peter's support of our annual NAMI Walks and the local affiliate has such a positive impact in our community. Events of the recent weeks have reminded me of a human tendency to create a God in our own image, and also the limits of ascribing divine purpose to a human enterprise. Nevertheless, with these caveats in mind, I echo today's collect, getting ahead of myself, and ask God to open the eyes of our faith, that we may behold him in all his redeeming work. And I want to tell you a story about something that happened not long ago while I was at work. A man came into our administrative offices, very agitated, because his daughter had been admitted to a local psychiatric hospital, and he didn't know how he was supposed to help her. As we sat together in the lobby of our office, the bewilderment he expressed, the despair he felt, the fear he had for his daughter's future was nearly suffocating. As I listened to him pour out his heart to me, I wanted so badly for both of us to see Jesus with us and to hear Jesus' words. Peace be with you. Now, I'm not a trained therapist or a clinician. Like the majority of NAMI staff and our hundreds of grassroots volunteers, my expertise with brain illness is the lived experience as a family member of someone living with a mental health condition. But with that as our connection, after the man finished telling me his story, I made sure that he knew he is not alone. Neither is his daughter, nor is his family. Because of the generous support of people like you, places like St. Peter's contributing to NAMI Walks and NAMI San Diego and Imperial counties, we have resources to offer. First, I helped him sign up for a local family-to-family education class so he can learn tools to help as he walks alongside his daughter on her journey of recovery. I gave him a flyer, which you'll actually find out on the porch after the service, that has the phone number for our local helpline that he can call and a NAMI San Diego warm line that his daughter can call when they need to talk to somebody who will understand their situation. I showed him where on our website to find the calendar for support groups that he can join whenever he needs to check in with other people going through a similar experience. Finally, I invited him to NAMI Walks. And I assured him that his family will be surrounded by thousands of people who care. I told him that one of my favorite parts of NAMI Walks is seeing the smiles and hearing the sounds of joy in the laughter on the field that is full of people who have been impacted by a chronic mental health condition. Because this event is a place where they can celebrate living the richest, fullest, most rewarding lives they can. One of the remarkable things about NAMI Walks is it's a gathering of folks who do not allow the diagnosis of mental illness to be the final word on how they live. Something that occurred to me last week when Reverend Madeline said, because of the resurrection of Jesus, physical death doesn't have to be the final word in our lives either. Brothers and sisters, I want to take a moment today to ask you to please consider joining the St. Peter's NAMI Walks team. And in your bulletin is a QR code to make it very easy for you to do so. Please consider making a contribution and also joining us next Saturday in Liberty Station for the NAMI Walks. And I hope when you come there, there'll be a moment when you look at the field in the midst of thousands of people, dozens of exhibitors sharing resources for the community, and even quite a few well-behaved dogs. And I hope that you'll see Jesus among us saying the words that we all long to hear now. Peace be with you. I want to say thank you to the outreach team for choosing NAMI to be a partner in ministry this year and making us a beneficiary of a generous grant again. I want to say thank you to Mother Page for the opportunity to talk to you for a few minutes. And I want to say thank you to you for your generous support and your kind attention in responding to the needs of our community. From the letter of St. Paul to the Galatians, while there is still time, let us do good, and especially to the household of faith. Amen.